Hello everybody. Next notes sheet is about polynomials, just a quick review. A polynomial is the sum or difference of many monomials. The highest exponent of the polynomial is called the degree. Before we start classifying polynomials, we need to make sure that it's in the standard form, which all you have to do is write exponents in descending order. All right, so once they're in standard form, then you can classify them. Their degree is the highest exponent. So if there is no exponents, then you just have a constant polynomial. If there is a degree of 1, so for example, x has a hidden 1 right there, that is linear. X to the power 2, or any letter with the power 2, will be quadratic. Anything to the power 3 is cubic. 4 is quartic. 5 is quintic. And then if you have like a degree that's past 5, you would just say a degree of 6 or a degree of 17, whatever that value is. And then classifying by number of terms, if it has 1 term, it is a monomial, mono. 2 terms, binomial. So mono, bi, 3 is trinomial. If it has more than 4 terms, you just call it a polynomial. Sometimes you'll hear people say it's a polynomial with 4 terms or a polynomial with 17 terms. Okay. Adding and subtracting polynomials. When you're adding and subtracting polynomials, you just need to focus on which are like terms and then combine from there. So looking at your highest exponent first, I see an exponent of 2. Looking for another one of 2. And we're adding, so we've got b squared plus 8b squared gives me 9b squared. Then look for another match. 5b plus a negative 2b, that gives me 3b. Negative 11 plus negative 7 gives me negative 18. So write your answer in standard form. We did that, highest, lowest, lowest. Now we need to classify. I see that there are 3 degree of 2, so it's going to be quadratic. And there's 3 terms, so it's a quadratic trinomial. Let's do another one together. Skip 10, you guys can do 10, I'll do 11. Find the highest degree. So this is a 2, this is a 3, so let's do the 3. If I have 1y cubed minus a negative 3y cubed, well, minus a negative turns to positive, and we're gonna get 4y cubed. Go to the next highest value, which would be squared. Negative 3y squared minus 4y squared puts me at negative 7y squared. The next highest one is this y to the 1 power, so 0y to the 1 power minus 1y to the y power. You have a negative y, 1 to the power. I don't have to write it though. And then finally, we have this negative 2 minus no other regular number, so we just have a negative 2. So writing this one out, look at your highest degree. It's going to be 3, so that's cubic. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so it's just going to be a cubic polynomial. I'll post photos of what these ones should be, but you should try these on your own before you check the answers. Okay, number 13. multiplying polynomials. So there's a couple ways to do these. You can either build a box and multiply with the box method. That takes a little bit of while, but if you're better at that, do it that way. I'm gonna do kind of like FOIL, but extended FOIL because it's not two binomials by each other. So I'm gonna start by taking everything in this one and applying it to everything in there. X times 2x squared, that gives me 2x to the cube power. X times 6x gives me 6x squared. X times -7 is -7x. Then I'm going to do everything underneath. -3 times -3 times 2x squared is -6x squared. And then we have -3 times 6x gives me a -18x. And finally, -3 times -7 is a +21. Just like we did up here, we're going to combine any terms that can be combined. Nothing combines with the 2x cubed, so I leave it alone. Then I look at the next one. I got squared 6x squared and a -6x squared. Those are going to go away on me because they're opposites. I have a -7x and a -18x. That gives me a -25x. And then finally I have this standalone singleton plus 21. All right, now to write it and classify. We've got 3 terms and the highest degree is 3. So we are going to say it is a cubic Hold on, did I miss something? No. Cubic trinomial. All right. Let's do another one. I will do, I think I'm gonna do 14 and 15 and I'll do 17 for you. And you guys are gonna be responsible for these two. I don't know, we'll see how I feel. Let's keep going. Number 14. We are going to, this one actually is a FOIL because it's binomial times binomial. 4t times 5t. Let me just draw a strong line so it doesn't get confused with number 13. 4t times 5t is 20t squared. 4t times 3, 12t. And I got this inside piece. Whoop, whoop. -1 times 5t is -5t. -1 times 3, -3. Let's just simplify this one before I approach this guy. So 20t squared doesn't combine with anything, so I'll leave it alone. 20t squared. These two combine and give me 7t and bring down your -3. Before I write the rest of it, let's go ahead and distribute everything in. -2t times 10t gives me a -20t squared. -2t times -9 gives me a +18t. And now let's combine any like terms that we have. I have a 20t squared and a -t squared. Those go away. I have a 7t and an 18t. If I combine those, I get a 25t. And finally, I have this -3 at the end. Let's classify. This t has a highest power of 1. So if it has a degree of 1, we know it's going to be linear, and there's 2 terms. So this is a linear binomial. Okay, let's do another one. I'm not going to do 15 for you because whenever you have something power 2, you can rewrite that as 4j minus 7k times 4j minus 7k. So you guys can just FOIL that one out in here. The next one, holy moly, this one's really, really long. Let's see if we can do it and write it kind of small. We are going to multiply these first two binomials. 2v times 2v is 4v squared. 2v times negative 3 is negative 6v. Then we'll do the bottom portion. 3 times 2v is 6v. 3v times negative 3 is negative 9. When we simplify this down, these two are going to cancel out, leaving me with just 4v squared minus 9. I'm going to bring this down. And now we got two binomials multiplying to each other again. 4v squared times negative 3v gives me a negative 12v to the third power. What was this? The next one. 4v squared times 1 is just 4v squared. Now we'll do the bottom. Negative 9 times negative 3v gives me a positive 27v. Negative 9 times 1 gives me a negative 9. Now we look for anything that you can combine. Negative 3, nothing. Positive 3 doesn't combine with anything. 2 doesn't combine with anything. 1. Nope, we're simplified here. Are we in standard form? 3, 2, 1, 0. Yes. We've got 4 terms and a highest degree of 3. So this tells me it's cubic. And since there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, anything with 4 or more terms is just a polynomial. All right, let's do the next one. I'll do 18 for you. Remember, just like number 15, if it's squared, you just write it out longwise. 3x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. And you're going to write this one out twice as well. So that would be negative x plus 4, negative x plus 4. I'm going to try to multiply all these out right away. 3x times 3x gives me 9x squared. 3x times 1, 3x. 1 times 3x, 3x. 1 times 1, 1. Okay, do the next one. Remember, this whole thing is going to get multiplied to this, whatever's over here in pink. Let's do the next one. Negative x times negative x gives me a positive x squared. Negative x times 4, negative 4x. Then the inside, 4 times negative x, negative 4x. 4 times 4, 16. Let's simplify them down. 9x squared plus 6x plus 1, and we're going to multiply that into x squared minus 8x plus 16. Holy cow, this is going to be crazy. When something like this is really, really big, I would recommend maybe pulling out some scratch paper and doing it on the side. So I'm going to use a sticky note. Or you can do it in the margin on your paper if you want. Personally, I don't want to do these rainbows with this 3x3. What I can do instead is build a 3x3 box and use the box method. So we've got 9x squared, 6x, and a 1. We've got x squared, negative 8x, and the 16. Now we're just going to multiply the heights and the widths of this box. 9x squared times x squared gives me 9x to the 4th. 6x times x squared, 6x to the third, 1 times x squared, x squared. This next one gives me 9 times negative 8 is negative 72 x to the third. Negative 8 times 6 is negative 48. I'm putting that x squared in there. 1 times negative 8x is just negative 8x. And 9 times 16, holy moly, what is 9 times 16? Well, do some scratch work. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 4. So 144. Don't forget that x squared. 6 times 16, I also don't know what that is, so I'll do some scratch work. 6 times 6 is 36. So we get 96. Don't forget that x. 1 times 16 is 16. Okay, now this is what's cool. The like terms are going to be on the diagonals. So these are like terms, these are like terms, and these are like terms. There is no like terms with the 9x to the fourth or the 16. So those are going to be right in my answer. We've got 9x to the fourth. If we combine the negative 72x and the 6, we get negative 66 x to the third. I'll peel my sticky note off a little bit. All right, so now when we add all these together, we've got 144 minus 48. That puts me at positive 96, plus 1 puts me at 97. If I combine these two, I get 88. And then finally, plus 16. Ooh, there's barely enough room to write the classification in there, but the classification is going to be to the fourth power, so it's quartic. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, so we're just gonna say it's quartic polynomial. All right. I'm thinking since I did this one for you guys, you can probably do this one on your own. Remember, if you have a trinomial times a trinomial for number 17, you can just build that 3 by 3 box. Do p squared p negative 6, p squared negative 2p, and a 1. Multiply everything in, and then you're going to combine all like terms. Remember, they're going to be on the diagonals. And then write your classification. I'm going to put the answers up for that one, but make sure you try it on your own. Don't just copy what I have. Okay, let's do everyone's favorite word problem. Yay! A triangle has a base of 3x plus 7 and a height of 5x minus 1. So we've got a triangle. The base is 3x plus 7, and the height is 5x minus 1. A second triangle is drawn with a base that is tripled. So this is getting bigger, right? So we've got, whoop, whoop. If we're tripling the base, that means we're going to take the previous base and we're multiplying it by 3. And its height is doubled. So we're going to take the original height, 5x minus 1, and we're going to double that. All right. Find the difference. Difference is a fancy word for subtraction between the area of the original and the area of the new triangle. So we need to know what the area of a triangle is. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, so if we're finding the difference, we're going to figure out what the area is of this one and then we're going to subtract out the area of that one. So let's write out a long equation. So let's first start with the big one. It's going to be 1/2 times this piece, which is 3 times 3x is 9x, plus 21. We're multiplying it by the height, which is going to be 10x minus 2. Parentheses are your friend. I'm going to put parentheses around this, telling me that I'm going to multiply these two together. I'm going to subtract that with our original one, which is going to be 1/2 times, parentheses are your friend, 3x plus 7 times 5x minus 1. This one is a long one. Okay. So we're going to first start by multiplying this binomial. You know, since they both have a 1/2, I can factor out the 1/2 and just do that at the very end. Okay, let's multiply this binomial. This gives me 90x minus 18x. And the bottom gives me 210x minus 42. Okay, now let's do the next one. I'm just going to apply this minus at the end, this one. (3x times 5x is 15x. 3x times -1, -3x. That gives me 35x. This gives me -7. And now we just combine all possible terms that would work. So I've got a 90, oh, I think that's supposed to be a 90x squared, my mistake. Same thing over here. 3x times 5x should have been a 15x squared. Okay, I've got a 90x squared minus a 15x squared. That would give me 75x squared. So that was subtracting those. I've got an 18 and a 210. One of them's negative. So that would put me at a 192x. Let's just do some scratch work up here. Got negative 18x. I've got plus 210x. That puts me at a 92x. And then over here, I've got a negative 3x and a 35. Remember, that's minusing it out at the end. That puts me, oops, that's a negative. And now I just have to subtract these out. So if I do 92 minus this, I get 60x. Did I miss anything? That's 32. Okay, so that took care of this, this. Uh-oh. This should have been a 192. 192, take away that, gives me 160. Good thing I caught that, huh, guys? And took care of that and that. And now all I have to deal with is this negative 42, take away a -7. Negative 42 minus -7 is like plus a 7. puts me at negative 35. So close to being done. Okay, now all I have to do is multiply this 1/2 into everything. I get 1/2 of 35x squared, or 75x squared gives me 37.5. Half of 160 is 80. And then half of 35 is 17.5, but negative. Bum, 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 and we're done. All right, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to put the answers to questions 12, 15, and 17, but I want you to try those on your own before you just copy what the answer is. Oops, and number 10. I'll put the answers to number 10 as well. All right, bye guys. Thanks for sticking in there. See you tomorrow.